Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles. Hello. And I want to wish a happy birthday to Mr. Keanu Reeves.
Oh, happy birthday.
He is, I believe, 50. Yeah, because he's going to watch this video. I think he's 56.
He does
56.
not look 56.
He does not. We just watched Bill and Ted 3 the other night, and I was thinking to myself, man, you know, I hope when I'm his age, I look as good as he does.
Yes.
But yeah, he's 56 today, and he's sort of at the center of a controversy that really doesn't have a lot to do with him personally, but they're going to use Keanu Reeves because he's a big name and everybody's searching for it. And of course, this comes out at the same time Bill and Ted's coming out and his birthday.
They're using it for the hashtag.
They're using it for the hashtag. So we're going to use it for the hashtag. So what is going on is Keanu Reeves has a graphic novel. He's working with Boom Studios on a graphic novel that they took to Kickstarter. Now, the graphic novel was already, I guess, fully funded. It was already planned to go to comic book shops, but they took it to Kickstarter to get extra pre-orders. They're totally allowed to do that.
Yeah, they are allowed to do that.
You're like shaking your head like, what's the big deal?
I am, because I'm like, a lot of publishers have done this.
Right, and I'm going to talk about that because this is sort of the difference, I guess, between Kickstarter and the mentality over there versus, say, Indiegogo, where the rules seem to be a little bit different. People understand on Indiegogo, they're basically pre-ordering a product. On Kickstarter, frankly, they view it as charitable giving, but that is really on Kickstarter because Kickstarter reorganized itself 5 or 6 years ago as being a public benefits company. They
before that it was looked at as, you know, you're supporting something. If you get a reward, great. If you don't, you don't.
Right. So it's gone through many iterations as to what Kickstarter is. And of course, you know, they had the union that didn't work out very well, where they basically, the employees wanted the ability to veto certain projects if they weren't for the public good. So along comes Boom Studios with their Keanu Reeves graphic novel, which is killing it. I guess it made like $250,000 or $300,000 in a day.
I'm sure it's Keanu Reeves.
It's Keanu Reeves.
Of course, it's going to do well.
It is.
I don't care what side politically you're on, because everybody loves Keanu Reeves.
Everybody loves Keanu Reeves. Nobody hates Keanu Reeves. Well, I'm sure there's a couple people.
People probably do, but he's just such a sweetie. I don't know how you would or why you would.
And they're going to comment in this video. They're going to be like, I hate Keanu Reeves because I went to a convention one time and he didn't look at me.
Well, I'm sorry, but your heart is bitter and black. I got what else to tell you.
But now, indie comics creators, talking about being bitter indie comics creators are coming out and saying it's not fair. It's not fair because Keanu Reeves and Boom Studios are taking money from them.
No, I was just going to say, it's exactly the stupid, like, soap opera analogy I always make. I'm going to make it again for new people. In the soap operas, they always have this guy with his girlfriend or wife, and there's always some other crazed dude or crazed woman who is in love with one of them and has this idea that if they off the spouse or the girlfriend or boyfriend, that then the other person will suddenly love them because they're there. And just because you killed the other person they love doesn't mean that suddenly they'll love you. Just because you stop Boom doesn't mean that people would actually back your projects.
Well, that's it, because a lot of times what happens with these big celebrity projects, and we saw it with, you know, even like movies like Veronica Mars and stuff like that, is it was a one and done. People went to the platform, to Kickstarter or Indiegogo, just to support that project.
And sometimes they go there and they support other people too.
Sometimes. You know, but
we'll look around, you know.
Right. But a lot of times they're going for this big celebrity project that's getting a lot of buzz. And look, this is the future of comic books because comic shops are closing. It's clear that Marvel and DC don't give a shit about the direct market anymore. And I'm going to do another video on that later this week, that there are changes at the top at DC that show they don't care about comic shops anymore. So what's Boom going to do? You know, if they can squeeze some extra money out of this book, taking pre-orders through Kickstarter, more power to them. You know, more power to them. But people aren't happy.
Surprise.
They're not happy. Why?
And today is a day that ends in Y.
I know, right? So this is coming from the Daily Dot. Why a mainstream publisher crowdfunding such a big project with... Why are they crowdfunding a big project with a wealthy celebrity attached? It's especially contentious when you know the publisher's reputation for underpaying less famous creators. Well, if you were Keanu Reeves, you'd get paid more.
Well, not just that. I mean, like, if you agree to work for that, then it's on you.
Yeah. They're the publisher behind Lumberjanes and Giant Days, and they do tie-in books. And yeah, their page rates aren't good. I mean, Boom's page rates are not good. But, you know, they're going to be selling a lot of limited editions and extra merchandise, including $1,000 box sets.
Jeez.
$1,000 box sets. And
Box sets of what?
Of,
the comic?
Yes, of Keanu Reeves swag, I guess.
Okay.
And people are gonna pay it. They'll pay it.
Yeah.
If you're a huge Keanu Reeves fan, like, look, even over on Indiegogo, you had Richard Meyer did a campaign with Sylvester Stallone, and they had like $1,000 signed books, and people were paying it because they get their book signed by Sylvester Stallone. So yeah, you've got that celebrity. They gotta do what they gotta do. Like, I'm not a huge Boom fan, right? I'm not, for reasons, but.
I can think of one.
I got some personal reasons.
They even still over there?
I don't think the people I had a problem with are still there.
Okay.
But
no, I think they're Comicsology now.
Yeah. But here's the thing. These publishers are going to resort to this because they have to. The comic shops are going out of business. Diamond, is like a month away from going tits up at this point. And if they can get some extra money off of Keanu Reeves, let's do it. I'd be like, you know what? We can make an extra $500,000.
Yes, I think it is. I think it's like, the industry as a whole is not doing great.
No.
So what are they going to do? I'm sorry if you don't like it. But them doing this does not mean it takes away from any of you, because it does not guarantee that people would have spent the money on your project to begin with.
They're talking about how some other people on Kickstarter, like Iron Circus, pays bonuses. Well, to be honest, I've heard sometimes they don't pay those bonuses, but anyway. But yeah, Twitter's, having a meltdown. Comics Twitter's having a meltdown about it because somehow they think that if Keanu Reeves and Boom isn't getting that money, that they're going to get it, and that's not the case.
But here's the thing. The other side of it is, like I was going to start talking about earlier, but if people come in just solely to back that book, like you said,
right,
that project, a lot of people might go and look around and be like, wow, there's a lot of cool things on here, and you might get backed. Other people might get backed for something they never would have got that money for had they not come in to back this project.
Well, that's
had
true.
It not got advertised all over the place, people might have been like, wait, what's this Kickstarter thing? Keanu Reeves? I don't do comics, but I know Keanu Reeves. And they're coming in and they're finding other things they might like to back, other projects they would never have looked at had this not been out there.
That is true. Because, yeah, they come in for Keanu and they stay for something else, But this is the future of comics. It's going to be direct to consumer. People are complaining on Twitter that comic shops are pulling... they're pulling their pre-orders or whatever, and they're going, or people are pulling the pre-orders from shops, and I mean,
grow up. At the end, I'm just gonna say it. Grow up. Here's the thing. You're acting like babies, and I'm sorry, but I'm sorry people would rather back a book that Keanu Reeves is on than yours. You know what? Go get a celebrity and do a book with a celebrity, and then you know what? You can have that money too. How about you don't kill the whole damn industry so that people want to buy comics, and then there would be more people interested in it overall. But no, everybody had to go shit where they eat, and now comics is down the crapper. You shit the comics down the crapper. Way to go. And now you're just whining because I'm not getting my money. What about me? What about me? And half the time, the people that whine the most, their stuff's garbage anyway. It looks like a fifth grader drew it. And I've actually seen fifth graders draw better.
Now, here's the thing, and I'm seeing this on Twitter too, that there are a lot of people who have been, talking about, taking pot shots at YouTubers for years, and now they're starting to admit that the direct market is dead. And they're like, oh, what are we going to do? I guess
I don't know.
Crowdfunding's the future. It's like, what the actual fuck?
You already messed that up too, just FYI.
Like, what the fuck? You guys have spent the last 3 or 4 years attacking people who have been saying that, hey, now's a good time to build Life Raft.
I don't think you're going to get the money you think you're going to get, and it just could be because you're a crabby person, everybody knows you are.
Well, that's it. So, I'm waiting for them to, and they have been writing Boom. I'm looking at the tweets.
For pity's sake.
Like, Boom, how dare you? This isn't fair, Boom.
How is it not fair? That's what I don't understand. How is it not fair?
Because it's not.
Because they didn't get. They're thinking they aren't getting that money.
They're not getting it.
And because other creators working for Boom don't get that much money. Well, maybe if Boom kickstarted their projects and there was a project that people cared about, they would get that much money.
Maybe if Boom stayed in business, people would actually still have jobs in comics. The thing is that these publishers, because of the domino effect of the comic shops going out of business, Diamond cutting out on comic shops, DC not thinking comic shops are really even worth it anymore, Marvel, they go out, all these smaller publishers like Boom and Vault and all these other, Oni Press and all that, it's going to be a domino effect. There aren't going to be any jobs for anybody in comics.
Well, here's my next thing. Okay, one of these people that are whining about it. If they had a project that did better than, say, a project that I was on, they think it was fair. if they had a project get picked up by a big comic publisher and they promoted them on a crowdfunding campaign over other people, they'd think it was fair then because it would benefit them. And I'm sorry, if you're just whining because you're not doing as well, maybe you're just doing it wrong.
Well, that's pretty much it. Comics is doing it wrong. They complain about success. They completely ignore Indiegogo, where there are multiple 6-figure, 7-figure comic book crowdfunding campaigns, deliberately ignore it because they don't like the people running the campaigns.
It goes back to the whole thing. We used to use an analogy of the big comics pie. We used to say web comics pie, but we'll say comics pie. There's a finite amount of pie, and actually the pie is shrinking. So what's happening is, because more and more people aren't even buying comics, so there might be, say there's we'll just use an easy number, say there's $10,000 overall to be spent on comics, and maybe one comic might get 5,000 of that, and the other 5,000 spread among everybody else. If you had everybody have to get, it had to be spread equally among everyone, congratulations, you just made 50 cents.
Yeah,
probably less.
So at that point, nobody can make a living in comics. And this is what, we've talked about this before, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again, where there are the supply and demand. There are way more people that want to work in comics and make comics than there is demand to financially support comics.
Right. It's just like acting. You get these actors in these films and they're getting paid a bunch of money, and there's a bunch of actors out there doing little projects that aren't getting paid as much, but they're not getting seen by as many people. I mean, should they get paid as much? No. I mean, honestly, actors get overpaid too, but that's another story. But you know what I'm saying.
Well, Keanu Reeves is winning it all, isn't he? He's probably making pretty good money as an actor, and he's making money on comics.
Right, and video games.
And video games.
And he's a nice guy.
And he's a nice guy. God, there's so many people out there probably just gnashing their teeth about Keanu Reeves, thinking about how awesome his life is.
No, he's had a lot of crap in his life. He deserves what he's getting. Good stuff comes his way, and he spreads good stuff. So that sounds wrong, but you know what I mean.
Well, he's not spending all day shitting on people on Twitter,
right?
Bitching about other people's success.
People, so yeah.
So anyway, this is another day in comics. This is how the comic book industry is. The comic book industry has basically burned itself down, and people are going to find workarounds. That's just it. That's how it works, right?
Change your diaper and move on.
Right. So we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Check out Keanu Reeves' graphic novel on Kickstarter if you're interested, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.